Alright, Shalom Hebrews. This is a message from the Israelite Brotherhood. Alright, Israelites, I want to talk about this, and man, I could have talked about it in a lot of other videos, but I ain't want the videos just to be extra long, because some of the information you just got to digest, I pray that everybody is doing well, the Israelite Brotherhood family, but this is what I want to discuss. Man, it's boiling down to this because it's a lot of things are happening in the Israelite community. We got, the Kanye West individual, and Curry, and man, quite a few others that's mentioning Israelite related uh, uh, issues. They using the term Jew to describe us Israelites because they haven't grown yet. When the Israelite refer to other Israelites as Jews, they still kind of babies. You can kind of tell where they at in the Israelite community, like far as history and understanding what's going on, because everybody will know that the Jewish people are Ashkenazi and Sephardi. Those are the Jewish groups, and you cannot take the Jewish people's history away, and we need to quit trying to do that and stuff. Even though that's how you know when a person got some understanding is if they say, well, we the Jews, then you kind of like you put the brakes, because they don't understand really what's going on, that the Jews are Ashkenazi and Sephardi. Those are the Jews, the Ashkenazi Jewish community. I just explained how there's really anti-Semitism. Man, if you trying to claim these folks' history and boot them out and stuff and call them Khazars and some other stuff, and how Israelites do that. But, man, listen, Israelites, these peoples, got a history, and they've been in our land a long time since we abandoned heritage, and they have a history. And Israelites overlook that. Half the Israelites don't even know anything about these groups, and just now discovering a little bit what's going on, waking up really, man, to what's going on. And if you don't understand these two groups, history, and you cast that to the side, then you ain't understanding Israelite history, because they play a part. Man, it's like a bicycle. They, they the tires. You know what I'm saying? They own the bike. And the bike ain't going nowhere. You know what I'm saying? Unless you got air in the tires. You know what I'm saying? Or some type of tires. And they it. You ain't finna understand Israelite history, man, unless you include those folks. So trying to say that we the Jews and then excluding them, man, is wrong. They are the Jews. We are the Israelites. Now, the word Jew is supposed to be a breakdown from the word Judah. We are not the breakdown. You know what I'm saying? We the original people. So we are Judah. We are not Jews. Jews is a breakdown, of the word, Yehuda. You know what I'm saying? And in Roman times, the people lived in the area could be called such, and we know that the religion was created and so forth, that people become Jewish and Jew by the religion that they created called Judaism, and so forth. So, those are the Jews, and they have a history. So you Israelites can't exclude them, and it's wrong when you do that. And this is where them folks get mad in the media. You know what I'm saying? Because them Israelites get in the media and say, we we are the Jews. We are the Jews. You know what I'm saying? They'll get in the media, men, and say, we are the Jews. We are the Jews, not having no understanding. No understanding what's going on. You know what I'm saying? And then when they do that, they set themselves up for problems, because the folks know that they can't explain the history if they calling themselves Jews, knowing that the Israelites have a real history, and that's Tanakh history, and it explains what happened to us. You know what I'm saying? So when them Israelites, you know, that's like, you know, they be saying we the Jews, and you know what I'm saying. What they trying to say is we the original people, but they don't know really the history and how to express it. They know who they is and the wealth that they didn't acquire, man, can't conceal that feeling that's inside of them. You see what I'm saying? That money ain't meaning nothing, and you know that the money is trivial when you got a bigger history and a bigger picture, and you know it's a bigger role that you're supposed to be playing. You know what I'm saying? And then that's why, you know, some Israelites, man, uh, uh, stay away from the Israelite struggle because they know if they associate themselves with the Israelite struggle, you know what I'm saying? That's like this individual could have been used to teach other Israelites with wealth. You know what I'm saying? To teach the other Israelites with wealth to stay away from Israelite issues. You know what I'm saying? Because the folks know, then they're real crafty. The people that control our heritage, man, they know that if these Israelites put their wealth together, man, if they put their wealth, man, together, if they put their wealth, man, together, and that they can solve the Israelite issue overnight. Yes, the Israelites got the power to solve the Israelite issue overnight if we was to come together and then put our little resources, you know what I'm saying, together. Ah, man, they'll have to, you know, do what's right because we got media, man, we got everything working for us. It's just that we ain't got no unity. But that individual and Kanye West and a few other ones that they spank in the media, letting you know that, you know, it's some financial and economic consequences because Israelites are tied in to money and having, you know, you need it to survive. But Israelites worship money. They worship money, and then they see what happened to them individuals, and then man, they'll run away from the Israelite issue and don't want nothing to do with it because they think that they're gonna lose their wealth. Now them individuals be having more than enough money to live on. Then they have more than enough money to live on. And they don't know that they only gonna live this one life. It's one life. And how them Israelites bow down and compromise with the system. You know what I'm saying? And that's because they didn't come correct. See, now if Kanye West and them individuals, as well as a few other ones, Kendrick Lamar and a few other ones, if they knew history correct, then, you know, they wouldn't even be in the media and wouldn't be no negotiation. Man, another one is that man, that guy that was Mariah Carey's. Oh man, I don't keep up with all the musicians and sports and entertainment and all that old industry because I know that that's controlled and that those individuals promote anti-Israelite heritage in a sense, or that they use the titles that was created for us, like black music, black history, and all that, and other folks reap the reward and control it and stuff. So I don't participate in none of the sports or none of that stuff, and I mostly just study and read Tanakh and so forth. But anyway, this what I'm saying is that the individuals, Kanye West and it brother, the basketball player, the ball runners are being chastised in the media because they trying to teach them that if any Israelites think about, because they know we waking up, man. The folks real slick, man. It's like when them Israelites left and escaped captivity, man, in the 60s and got into Africa and Liberia and got whooped and then got over into the promised land. You know, that's the Israelites walking around in the desert. Man, today in Demona, they ain't in the right place. I got videos explaining how they didn't come back into the promised land with correct history, so they ain't in the right spot, and that's why the Israelite issue is not being solved and stuff, because the peoples are not in the right place, and none of the stuff that's taking place has nothing to do with prophecy and stuff. But listen, how about those Israelites that are coming to the promised land, and then that made our enemies because they see Israelites leaving and then made it to the promised land, that they got Jim Jones. And Jim Jones got them Israelites, they had to use demigods, because them the only ones gonna be weak to go following ones they believe in demigods and stuff, Jesus. And then he took them down to Guyana and murdered them, got rid of them, and so forth. You know what I'm saying? So they got mechanisms and so forth to prevent Israelites from doing things psychologically. Man, they know that we can read psychological stuff. You know what I'm saying? And we see forewarnings and stuff. And I'm gonna explain it, like during the Babylonian captivity or wars, when we went into Africa, and then we seen all them prophecies that Prophet Jeremiah said would come to pass, and then how Nebuchadnezzar come into Egypt. One of the quietest kept history on the face of this earth too is Nebuchadnezzar come into Egypt and chased us on the way, and we will go deeper into Africa, but I'm gonna get into that subject in a minute. But anyway, the people that control our heritage, the folks and when I say enemies, anytime somebody that's plotting against the Israelite community or trying to hold us back from coming into our heritage or try to conceal our heritage in any kind of way, you're an enemy of the Israelites. So when I say enemy, that's who I'm talking to, because you got good peoples of all walks of life and all ethnic groups, and some of them will submit to y'all if they had the right information. But if you're an enemy of the Israelite, it is if you're trying to hide our history, you're trying to prolong it, or trying to hinder it in any kind of way, then you're an enemy of the Israelite. And that's what I mean by enemies. You know what I'm saying? And you got pigment enemies, black ones, white ones, Chinese ones, you know what I'm saying, of all ethnic groups. But, specifically, it all go back to the peoples that we abandoned our heritage to, because they have a interest in not, us coming into heritage, and they have an interest in not, being truthful about the Israelite heritage. And I'm going to go into that as I'm explaining this video. But yeah, man, our enemies got mechanisms, man, that they'll put in place and way ahead of time. And they know we smart but dumb. It's like when the men Tanaka say, see but can't see, hear but can't hear. Sometimes we see, man, some stuff. So, when they tell them individuals, you're going to lose your wealth, and then one of them was a billionaire. You know what I'm saying? One of them was a billionaire. But man, I had some folks call me because they know I'm always talking about the Israelite issue, and they couldn't understand why this person will lose $1 billion talking about, you know what I'm saying, that he a Jew and stuff, and that, they got their interest and so forth. So they know that it was real important, because they know how, man, that folks are always punishing us for doing stuff or trying to stand up or some kind of way that it shouldn't be worthy of a punishment and so forth. So they calling and stuff, and I explain to them and so forth. You know what I'm saying about it, man, a little more. But anyway, the system using them individuals, man, to teach Israelites that they got some wealth, man, to stay away from the Israelite issue. Stay away from the Israelite issue, or else you're going to lose your wealth, and you going to be cast down to the folks that's trying to make it. You know what I'm saying? So, that's all that's about. You know what I'm saying? When they punish them dudes out in the media, you know what I'm saying, for saying that they Jews and so forth. And then they really wrong for saying that they Jews, because, and then they kind of help the folks that ain't for us, they call themselves Jews, is that the Israelites think that they're Jews, and then there's a person being punished for saying that he a Jew. That's gonna make Israelites run to the Jewish history and being, want to be Jewish even more. Man, black synagogues should be filling up right now, and then the rabbis teaching them Jewish history and so forth, and everybody know the Jewish history come off the Tanakh, man, the history that we abandoned to them and so forth. But yeah, man, so them individuals, they'll be used to teach the Israelites to run and get away from Israelite issues, else you would lose your wealth in this day and time, especially when it's hard and folks trying to make it and stuff, and them folks that is in the entertainment industry, man, they been living good and comfortable, real good, real good, and see, what I'm saying, they work for it, what I'm saying, but they been living real good, and while the rest, we all come over here on the slave ships, men together, they just separated us on the plantation. They separated us on the plantation and assigned different tasks for the Israelites. And Israelites been playing them roles. Is why it ain't no unity and so forth. But Israelites with wealth been living good, and men, they ain't wanna no hardships to come up on them or them to lose the position they got. So they got to be real careful. You know, with this Israelite issue, you know what I'm saying? That's like me. I understand. You know what I'm saying? About the individuals that got wealth and so forth, that how they can be an asset to the Israelite community if they didn't get all the way out there and then expose themselves and just work on the backside, you know what I'm saying, and support the Israelite community on the backside. You ain't got to tell them folks that you know that you're Israelite, even though they help. But like I say, in this instance, with these individuals hollering that they Jews, that does not happen, because they just should say that we Israelites, because now they being punished under that Jew title, and then they make Israelites run to Jewish history. So there's been, games that our enemies play. You know what I'm saying? They play some serious mental games, and if you ain't woke to the Babylonian scribes that control Babylon, that got our heritage, and if you don't understand the gods' history, the felon gods' history that they controlled, in the civilizations that they control, the Akkadian, the Sumerian, Akkadian, and all the civilizations up to now that they been, you know what I'm saying, had their hand in it, whether it's east or west, that you're not gonna understand how it's simple for them to to mislead and trick. A case in instance is when we Israelites had a plan from Almighty Yah. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna talk about that too. How we had a plan from Almighty Yah to establish His rule on earth. You know what I'm saying? Almighty Yah, men controlled planets and inhibited them with righteousness and so forth. And then how we Israelites, men, were told to subdue this planet with His law, and how that we didn't do it. And because the people who control the earth, which is the Canaanite culture, basically whether it's east or west, but more west, that the world is in this terrible position now, is because we Israelites didn't destroy the Canaanite culture when we exodus, but how that we was manipulated and tricked by the peoples who control ancient civilizations for a long time, the Amorites, the Sephardims, the Sephardists, and then how did they got into our heritage by tricking Prophet Joshua. Tricking Prophet Joshua, and then got into our heritage and so forth, and then how did it was downhill from me. You know what I'm saying? It's like I was reading, man, what this Israelite was talking about. Well, showing, you know what I'm saying, I should have get the verse. I maybe bring the verse up later on of how the Israelites was in the temple doing wrong and stuff. And the Israelites was in the temple and was doing all kind of sin and stuff in the temple. And then I was like, well, them Israelites don't know that soon as we exodus Egypt, that some Amorites got into our heritage that was responsible for the Canaanite civilization, wherever it was around the world. And then how that they got into our heritage as Gabonites, and how we made them keepers and carriers of water in whatever institution or establishment the congregation and the priests and them would have. And then how that they was always around the covenant and around the priests and the Levites and so forth. And then how you know they gonna be men corrupted, men of some folks that we trying to destroy their civilization, that we didn't let them into the our community, and we were supposed to destroy their kind, that man, eventually we was gonna lose everything. And then that's what happened. We basically lost everything during Exodus. It just prolonged it, you know until we was driven out during the Babylonian wars. The best time that we had was under King David, even though it was still a wrap, because those peoples were still deep in our heritage real good by King David time. We only got 800 something years in the promised land, 818 years before we was driven out and so forth. Yeah, but them people got in early in our heritage, man. And then how that they plans and schisms been working to derail us and keep us off heritage. So whenever you read in the Tanakh about how the priests wasn't doing this right or doing that right, and how we was evil and wicked, not to blame anybody, but we couldn't get a good solid start, is because those folks was in our heritage. And man, they got their women there and everything. We whooping on everybody that we gonna be lax on doing the things we supposed to do. And with the covenant trying to subdue the planet and be in the priestly nation, that man, it wasn't no playing with this, because Almighty y'all put a serpent here just in case you mess up and don't do right. That he gonna snap you in shape like a rubber band. And then that's what's been happening to us now with this captivity and the mental things that our people been going through. We got to be snapped back like a rubber band. You know what I'm saying? And that's what's, what I'm saying, going on. Look. All right, look. Let me get into little scriptures too, but I want to show this why Edom. Man, there's a whole bunch of things I want to talk about. I want to talk about why the Israelites scared, and why we gotta shake it hard when it comes to our freedom and being the people who we supposed to be, and how we just accept other people's culture and the easy way out, and instead of being Israelites we supposed to be. It's a job, but it's a reward in the end. Look, behold, I have taught you statutes and judgments, even as the Elohim my Yah command me, that you should do so in the land whether ye go to possess it. Keep therefore and do them, for this is your wisdom. Look, this is your wisdom and your understanding in the sight of the nations, which shall hear of all these statutes. And surely this great nation is a great and wise and understanding people. For what nation is there so great who had Yah so nigh unto them as the Elohim Yah? You know what I'm saying? But look, all nations would have come to us. Look, keep therefore and do them, for this is your wisdom. This is your wisdom right now. The Tanakh is still our wisdom. If we can stray away from some of the sinful things that our enemies control, it's hard. We all affected by it. We all affected by it. That's why I'm gonna explain how everybody's sin is forgiven when this Israelite issue come towards a settlement, or be heading towards a settlement. How everybody's sin gonna be forgiven but Edom. And the only reason Edom saying ain't gonna be forget him is cause Edom is in Jerusalem, and Edom cemented himself in Jerusalem with his religion. You see what I'm saying? That was created, and I'm gonna go into that. But how that's unforgivable, how Edom coming to the promised land during the Babylonian wars and being in our heritage, and that's our heritage. Whether they got full knowledge of it or not, it's a price to pay for that, because we got to come back home. See, we got to come back home, and we got to occupy the lands that Edom got. You know what I'm saying? And Hebron and all the little parts that, you know what I'm saying, concerns us Israelites. You know what I'm saying? In them parts that Jordan got over the promised land and the Palestinians. You know, that's why I was explaining to some Israelites how we Israelites ain't got no no how we ain't got uh, uh no interest in uh, uh the Palestinian issue. Me, how we ain't got no interest, zero interest in the Palestinian uh, uh struggles that they going through, because they all on our land. You see, they all on our land, and we can't, you know what I'm saying, compromise that. You know what I'm saying? That ain't nothing mean to be compromised. You know what I'm saying? And how that we Israelites, you know what I'm saying, want our land back. And the Edomites and the Palestinians, I don't think gonna freely give our land back. You know, especially they fighting with Ashkenazi to keep our land. So, you know, they ain't gonna just be too happy to give our land back. And we know how the prophecy go about Edom, and I'ma read it. But we Israelites, man, we ain't got no interest in the Palestinian issue. Zero interest in the Palestinian issue and stuff. You know what I'm saying? I had some little information that I was finna share on that subject. You know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna probably come back to it. You know what I'm saying? But how we have zero interest in the Palestinian conflict. You know what I'm saying? They're on our land. Zero interest. All right. But we know that if we would have kept, you know what I'm saying, the law, that we would have been the priestly nation, man, to Almighty Yah, man, that He would have wanted us to be. And we know how that go, man, in Exodus. You know what I'm saying? There's plenty of verses in Exodus where we supposed to have been the priestly nation, and how, we, took the easy way out. You know what I'm saying? Look, and it shall come. Let me see. And ye shall be. Let me see. All right, then. Now, therefore, if ye follow and obey my voice, and indeed, and keep my covenant, then ye shall be a peculiar treasure unto me above all people. Look, above all people. Meaning above all people. For all the earth is mine. I tell you, man, how Almighty Yah populated this earth and created life on it. Man, them folks say it's trillions of planets. Almighty Yah got this planet, and He created the life on it. You know what I'm saying? And He set an adversary on it for those that disobey His law and don't follow His will. See, we're going to bounce back like a rubber band, you know what I'm saying, after this chastisement our enemies and them put us up under. And we're going to be who the Creator say we're supposed to be, and how the Creator know. Because He done did this over and over and over before. Just like a playbook. You know what I'm saying? The Tanakh is the playbook. And this done played out in other places throughout the galaxies. Because we know it's a heavenly host. And that Almighty Yah ain't by Himself. And especially when He say, I done seen these stiff-necked peoples before. And He just really come in, get in good with us on Exodus. He always been with our fathers and so forth that obeyed Him, but getting with us as a people. And we all seeing His miracles and so forth. Man, it happened with our Exodus with Egypt and so forth. But look, and ye shall be unto me a kingdom of priests and a holy nations. These are the words which thou shalt speak unto the children of Israel. A kingdom of priests. So then that mean that since the earth is Almighty Yah's, and then we're gonna be some kingdoms and some a kingdom of priests, that the whole earth was going to have to submit to Almighty Yah's will, and we was going to be his representatives on earth. You see, we was going to be his representatives on earth, but we gave that up for some Egyptian religion. And then I want to show this to Israelites. I might double, man, for a little bit, man, before I get into the main subject. You know what I'm saying? But don't you know how those Israelite sisters be having them tattoos? Now, some of y'all gonna have tattoos on your back and on your body, and you know, man, there ain't nothing we can do about it. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, we in captivity, and we know that, you know, not knowing our Israelite heritage like we were supposed to, that a lot of stuff we did, and then, you know, then when we come into our heritage and understand who we are, that all this kind of like washed in the past, and you can't go back and do none of that. But I just want to show the Israelites this, because I done seen it, and it's what they call the tramp stamp. The tramp stamp, man. It's like the woman getting some tattoos, man, on the back of her back, right above her booty cheeks, you know what I'm saying, on her spine, you know what I'm saying, like this right here, well, that come from Egypt, and they done got, you know what I'm saying, some Egyptians, you know what I'm saying, with tattoos all on them, on their neck, man, and everything. And then how did it, this comes from Egypt, you know, women, you know, tattoos, you know what I'm saying, putting them on their backside and so forth, you know, and man, they got, you know what I'm saying, that, you know, the Israelite women is doing that right now today and think that's cool and stuff to have tattoos on their back. Now, if you got them on your back, ain't nothing you can do. And I know that you ain't no tramp now, because you done woke up to your Israelite heritage, and you know, cleaning yourself up, and you ain't gonna, you know, be like that and so forth, because, you know, if the woman like that, the kids gonna be like that. And so, you know, we know that if it's an Israelite woman that got that on her, man, that the Israelite community forgive her, and the Hebrew male ain't gonna judge you, you know what I'm saying, because you got, you know, them tattoos on you, you know what I'm saying. That's why I might say everybody's sins is gonna be forgiven besides Edom. Everybody's sins gonna be forgiven besides Edom. Even the so-called Caucasian, everybody's sins gonna be forgiven, but Edom is because Edom got Jerusalem, and Edom ain't gonna turn Jerusalem over. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna tell y'all like this, Israelites, we're gonna have to share Jerusalem with Ashkenazi. You know, now some of y'all ain't gonna agree with the Israelite Brotherhood's doctrine on in relations to Ashkenazi, and how the Israelite Brotherhood, you know, more willing to cooperate and you know, deal with Ashkenazi than with the other folks claiming the Israelite heritage. You know what I'm saying? And the reason I say that, man, I explained it in, you know, some of the videos and in the history that I be teaching on Facebook, you know, is that, you know, Ashkenazi, Almighty Yah told him to be there to chase us out. You know, we understand that. You know what I'm saying? I got all the proof, you know what I'm saying? And they know I got the proof, you know, how they come into the Israelite heritage, and that's already understood. We ain't even mad at them, because we was doing Egyptian religion. And we had to get chased up off the land in order to go into the curses that we had coming, because, you know, we was doing Egyptian religion. And then if you're doing Egyptian religion, then how is you gonna be the priestly nation that Almighty Yah want us to be? And I can show that our enemies were slick. You know what I'm saying? That's like the Assyrians use the tribe of Ephraim and the Egyptians to trade. But we can't do no covenant if they coming across the promised land. And you know what I'm saying? And then we fooling around with them, in which we did. So the Creator sent Ashkenazi and to get us off, the folks from the north. You know, and he come in under the name Scythian. You know, Scythian and Ashkenazi, you know, that's the same folks. And they settled in Scythopolis. ancient Beth Shean. Ancient Beth Shean, they settled there. And they would have proxy wars with the Sephardics over our heritage. Now the Sephardics didn't go into Africa with us because they was kindred to the Babylonians that was chasing us off the land, who was Ashkenazi during the Babylonian wars. They took Chaldea off. I got plenty of videos going into all this history and so forth. But me and them folks chased us out the land for worshiping Egyptian religion. So we ain't mad at them. We know that why they there. But the other folks who are Amorites, and Edomites, the Semitic groups, mixed, with the Moabites, you know what I'm saying, the Amorites, I already proved that the Sephardics are Amorites from Cyprus, they're from Mesopotamia, you know what I'm saying, or Canaanites, and that they heritage come way before Spain. Spain was a word, how they was already recognized as being from Cyprus and being Amorites and so forth. So, ain't no getting around that, even though they, try to by making certain words disappear. If you used to be, you translate the word Sephardim into Sephardi. You know what I'm saying? This word right here, and it's from Cyprus. And I got plenty of videos going into the history. And then one of their main historians, Henry Aberson. Oh man, he one of them Sephardists, man, and they tell lies, man. They deceitful and everything, man. I'm just really upset at them. Man, and it's hard for me to change my attitude towards them is because I understand how they been in our heritage for a long time and been deceitful. And then when you look at they practice today in explaining the Israelite heritage, how they deceitful and try to keep the Israelite heritage away from its original owners, us. And I got videos explaining how he explained. They took one of my videos down, the most greatest hidden secret, you know what I'm saying, on the face of this earth. And I'm explaining how this rabbi explaining Israelite history in relations to the African Jews, but how he never explained about the Babylonian wars and the Tanakh history of the whole Israelites going into Africa to do the Egyptian religion and how they never returned back to the promised land. And how he ain't wrote nothing about that or said anything about that. We got proof that the Israelites that ran into Africa during the Babylonian wars never returned home. That's what the book of Jeremiah about, especially when you get to chapter 44. Oh man, they tell you how everybody broke bad and went into Africa, and we know that those Israelites never returned home because you got the 1% that did come home from the Babylonian captivity. Only stayed about 70 years, and they was happy to come home, but because they had protection under Cyrus, you know what I'm saying, and Cyrus, and then when they did come home, you know what I'm saying, this guy right here, King Cyrus, man, they had protection under this guy right here, and let me see, Cyrus was mentioned by Prophet Isaiah in 711 BCE, Isaiah 45:1. This 52 years before he got on the throne, 152 years before he was born, you know what I'm saying, before he got on the throne, and 559 to 530 BCE. Then Chambers, you know what I'm saying, wicked Africans that tricked us, the battle of Prunes, who will go have, all right, you know what I'm saying, I explain all this stuff, man, in another video. I got some videos dealing with that history, and it's not really about that, but, man, I want to, go into Edom's heritage too, but those folks, man, they ain't been truthful with us. The Sephardics ain't, man, about our Israelite heritage, and how that they been, real deceitful, and I prove in this fact because they got videos. Look at all Henry Aberson videos about the Israelites dealing with Africa, and see, don't he not mention the Israelites going into Africa during the Babylonian wars? Now, why would he do that? He's supposed to be a real proficient historian that's respected throughout the world, but he yet he don't mention the Israelites going into Africa during the Babylonian wars that never returned to the promised land, who Almighty Yah was against, who his wrath was against, who he said would be taken to other nations and dogged out. You know what I'm saying? And I just finished watching this movie not too long ago. I should have saved some of its parts, called Neo-Slavery, how they did us after slavery, man. I'm talking about did us during slavery, but how they did us after slavery. Those different lawful mechanisms. You know what I'm saying? That's like this person overproved to me how the federal government owed us Israelites for slavery, because it was the federal government that sanctioned slavery. It was the federal government, man, that sanctioned slavery and had slavery going on so long, and how slavery couldn't exist without the government. You know what I'm saying? And a whole lot of the acts with controlling us come from the government and legislative law, and how that the government exists, the people that exist in the governmental structure that promoted that back then in slavery in its laws. You know, the black codes, man, they lock you up for just anything, man. The slaves couldn't read because they kept them from reading, to kill them from reading. And then when they turned us loose from slavery, man, did they it made you sign some contracts, because if you was standing around, they'll take you to jail and then work you for free. And then how you was still in slavery, because you'll never get out of slavery for being worked for free, and they'll trump up all kind of fines and all kind of stuff, man, just to keep you in jail. And how that went on for a long time. You know what I'm saying? Standing around, man, they gonna snatch you and you're gone. And then if you, man, could read, you know what I'm saying, it was even worse for you. And then how Jim Crow laws, the so-called civil rights, man, they just tricked us left and right during the civil rights, because how we had a prosperous community, man, before then, because our enemies was dogging us out, and how we was real inventive during that period, creating all kind of stuff. And then that's like, this one person, man, this individual proved to be I was watching this video when they say the dude created the cotton gin, and how that helped slavery. Leroy something created the cotton gin, and how they helped it slavery. And then this individual proved on this video with statistics how the slavery went up. Whereas, just before the cotton gin, they only had like 6, 7, 100,000 slaves. And then when the cotton gin come out, man, it jumped to about 3-4 million, because then they needed more slaves to process more cotton. You see what I'm saying? It ain't that the cotton gin helped the slaves from doing some work and it made they work less. No, it made them do more work, because then he needed more cotton, because he got a faster way to process it. And then that's how they got richer. And then the railroad companies, if you went to jail, all the railroad companies and all the major industries that got on their feet basically come from the slavery days. If they didn't come from overseas, recently, and if they've been here in America since and after the slavery, especially during the civil rights. If a business was around during the civil rights, he basically gonna be the guy that started from the free work that the the slaves did. All right, Israelites, man, this is what I want to go into. Now, we know that those folks, man, are Amorites. Amorites, I proved this over and over and over and over. How those folks come from Sepharavim. Ain't no getting away from that. There's all kind of stuff proving this. And then how they, been scribes, and how they can make words and history disappear in the culture that they control. But if they don't control your mind, then this truthful information can't disappear, and we pass it on and on and on. That's why come they go through great lengths to keep you deceived and from knowing real truth and so forth. All right, so you see, that's where the Sephardim from. It's Amorites, Hamabare. You know what I'm saying? It's like we up under the Hamabare, capitalistic, governmental control now. And he was a head reading on Amorite. That's love right now today. And basically capitalism is set up on his foundation and so forth. And then this capitalism that they do destroys the earth. Destroys the earth. They don't give the earth a chance to replenish a regrowth. None. They don't have no a wait period to stop robbing the earth and let it sit for this amount of time, and how it's just profit, 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 and no love for the earth. And then how we chase those folks to the serpent and to the Nephilims, the giants. It's already understood in the Tanakh history how the Amorites and the giants basically won. And when they say giants, it's going to be that these folks are big in thought and mentality and technology, the fallen angelic beings. You see what I'm saying? And when they draw pictures of them, they draw them big, man, to show the difference, because they was really big in mind and so forth. And they just, made the images like that. But they was mixed with them. And man, them folks is terrible. And Sep Hardys, Sep Heridim, and Sep Herodic Amorites, Edomites. And I can show how that the Edomites and the Moabites and the Ammonites fused with them. And then, we know how Edom went off into all them other tribes and mixed with them. And then how did them folks, the Edomites, the Sephardims, I showed that they come into our heritage during the Babylonian wars. They already been in our heritage from Exodus, but how the other uneducated ones got in, that the other ones that was in our heritage educated and made a whole bunch of folks practicing our heritage and so forth. Not counting the ones that come from Babylon. When the exiles come back, the Nethinims, I got a video explaining how a whole lot of they folks come to the promised land, and then they try to disguise it as Israelites wanting to stay or been there. But when those folks left the promised land and got a free ride home with Nebuchadnezzar, they, you know what I'm saying, that they went, and sprayed the Hebrew names. Everybody started claiming the Israelite name, and then how them folks went to the promised land, but how we put the brakes on it and recognized who they were and classified them in the book of Nehemiah. And I think Ezra, we classified Nethinims and how they couldn't never come into the heritage and so forth, and how we knew that they was Moabites. See, a lot of the scriptures was written, that's like doing Jeremiah time. Many had to be careful, especially prophet Ezekiel. Many had to be careful how they was giving the prophecies and coding it, because if they would have coded just outright and explaining our image, see, we can see our image, our enemies' history now and know who they were in the Tanakh. But in the past, man, if he would have said outright that these folks and these was gonna happen, that they would have destroyed, and the Tanakh probably would have been hard to be around, have been translated so much that we would have never probably understood. But that didn't happen. All right, look, the Amorites took over the Moabites. Now we know that the Amorites are fused with the giants. Ain't no question about that. Sihon and Og were the giants, and we were supposed to destroy them. We were supposed to destroy them, and then we didn't. And then that would get our lights put out. You know what I'm saying? But those Amorites had fused with the Ammonites, and then they kind of like start messing around with them in a prophet Lot's time, when they was in Sodom and Gomorrah. They gonna probably get a little taste of the wickedness of the Amorite culture Sodom and Gomorrah, which made it easier for them to be wicked later on. You see what I'm saying? All right, now look at this here. All right, and it says, for Heshbon was the city of Sihon, the king of the Amorites. King of the Amorites. And man, I wanted to show this in one of them last videos, man, that I had that I just couldn't find this for nothing, men in the world. But you know, here it is now. Look, for Heshbon was the city of Sihon, the king of the Amorites, who had fought against the former king of Moab, and taken all of his land out of his hand, even unto Arnan. Wherefore they that spake in Proverbs say, come into Heshbon, let the city of Sihon be built in, you know what I'm saying? All right, so Sihon, the the uh the giant Nephilim mixed Amorite, the fallen angelic being, you know, they controlled it. They controlled it. Moab's and the Ammonites territory. It's the same as Moab too. And I'm gonna show this. All right, let's go to the map. I think is Deuteronomy 3:2. Let's see what that say. I got that down for a reason. Deuteronomy 3:2. All right. All right. And it says, then we turned and went up again with the Bashan, king of Og, and Bashan come out against us. And the Elohim said unto me, fear him not, for I will deliver him and his people and his land into thy hand, and thou shalt do unto him as thou hast did as unto Sihon, king of the Amorites, which dwelt in Heshbon. So look, Heshbon is the Ammonites territory, which is Jordan, Moab, and Jordan's territory. And then I can show that man, they supposed to be in trouble. And then how Edom got our land, cause Edom fused in with them and occupied that land, and then got the land now. Everybody that ain't Ashkenazi gonna be basically tenant with Edom in the promised land. You know, the Arabs. I hate to say it, the Palestinians. You know, the Jordanians. You know, all them Edomites. And they in our heritage. And we're going to work something out with Ashkenazi, because we know Ashkenazi been fighting a proxy war with them folks for a long time. But if Ashkenazi don't come on and support the Israelite Brotherhood, or support, you know what I'm saying, this Israelite cause, that he going to be driven out before long, because the Eastern nations is rising, and the Eastern nations back the Sephardists. I got all this explained in videos. All right, well, we see how Sihon, let me see, Sihon and the Amorites and all them, you know what I'm saying, partners. All right, look, this even got, all right, let me see. For here, the fires gone out the Heshbon, a flame from the city of Sihon. It had consumed of Moab. It consumed of Moab, much as a foot breadth, because I have given Mount Seir unto Esau for a possession. No, that ain't even going with that. All right, the Lord's. Let me see. Woe to thee, Moab! Thou art undone, O people. Look, see the Moabites too. Woe to thee, Moab! Thou art undone, O people of Chishmish. He had given his sons that escaped his daughters into captivity unto Sihon, king of the Amorites. You know what I'm saying? So they're going to be done come back and got back on their foot. So whatever prophecy about them coming back from captivity going to be done came back during the Babylonian time, because the Babylonians were friends with the Moabites and the Edomites and the Ammonites, and whatever oppression that they was up under, they would be freed from it. You know what I'm saying? I can show this. Look, all right. And most, I'm gonna say, free you not. All right, since Sihon, the king of the Amorites, which dwelled at Heshbon. All right, so we know Heshbon is gonna be Edomite, Amorite, Starhold. You know what I'm saying? But I want to read this too, also. You know what I'm saying about the men about the Babylonians taking the promised land and Edom coming in during them times, and how he been in the land, and how he ain't gonna be too much want to give our land up. Edom ain't gonna want to give our land up. You know what I'm saying? He ain't gonna want to give our land up. And let me stay on this little hash bun thing real quick, and I'm gonna show you Israelites something. All right, as prophet Jeremiah, man, is talking about, you know, the Ammonites and the Philistines' destruction. You know, the Philistines is gonna be the Amorite hill controlled ancient lands, the Philistines and the Philistines and Troy and Zidon. You know what I'm saying? All those were lands right here, right there, right over there. You know what I'm saying? Right up in there and stuff. Right up in there, and how that they was be destroyed, but how those people are connected to the merchants of today that are called, you know what I'm saying, Sephardics. And I showed that the merchants, man, was all over the earth. It's the Randonites, trade routes and stuff, and how that they was everywhere, all over. Wherever you see them lands, that's where they trade route went, from east to west, all over the planet Earth. All right. Now let me show this. Let me see this, Jeremiah 48. Let me see how we gonna put this in here. All right. So we know. All right. We know that Sion, that the Ammonites were and the Moabites, that the was fused in with the Ammonites, and that the Ammonites got off into the Moabites and Amorites long time ago, way back in Exodus days and so forth, man, in the 1400 BCs. And then when prophet Jeremiah was giving his oracle, man, about their destruction, you know what I'm saying, that, you know what I'm saying, he was referring, you know, man, to those folks in futuristic terms too. Now remember, their captivity come back with the Babylonians. And then, you know, whatever captivity they was in, they got freed by the Babylonians. Whatever yoke we had them under, they got freed during the Babylonian times. All right, let's see what this say. All right, let me say, look. During the Babylonian exile, the Edomites, let me see, took advantage of Jerusalem. Look. Took advantage, let me see, during the Babylonian exile, the Edomites took advantage of the situation to plunder Jerusalem and expropriate large portions of Judah's land. This led to the particularly bitter feelings on the part. See, they try to trick you with their Jewry because they try to make you think about Sephardi and Ashkenazi, who we abandoned our heritage to. You know, they're going to be responsible for this history. So much as that in, all right, so, but anyway, they would get get themselves in during the Babylonian Wars. During the Babylonian Wars is when Edom got in our heritage real good. You see what I'm saying? Edom got in our heritage real good during the Babylonian Wars, and then we can look and see that all the prophets' words gonna have to be consistent. All the prophets' words gonna have to be consistent and kind of match each other. And throughout the Tanakh, all the prophets give condemnation, man, to Edom, because Edom done took the Israelites' land. Edom done took the Israelites' land. Man, it's like Prophet Obadiah spoke about Edom way the most destructive part about Edom, and I think this was in 853 BCE. Let's look and see. I got it marked down. If I can go on and find it, let me see if I can find it. All right, yes, Prophet Obadiah. Let's see what this say. All right, 853. Like I said, look, 853. And then he give his oracle about Edom, and it's about Edom being in our land, how he come into our land and got it. This was a prophecy of this happening way before it happened, and then it happened during the Babylonian Wars. You know what I'm saying? Man, it's going to be about 300 years later, because it happened in 580 in 583 BC. So man, it's close to about 500 years. You know what I'm saying? Maybe a little under. But how this prophet gave his oracle about Edom being in our land and taking our land, and how he was happy that we, you know what I'm saying, was doomed, and how he got our land and stuff, and this prophet was mad. And then when you get over here, man, they talk about how we gonna get them, and then how the land gonna fall back into our hand. What Edom got of ours? What Edom got of ours was supposed to go back into our hand, and I be explaining it to Israelites. It's gonna be hard for Edom men to get into our hand if we ain't got some support, because we don't manufacture nothing. We don't manufacture no guns. We don't manufacture no spoons, no forks, no bowls. We don't even manufacture the shoes. Nothing, nothing, nothing. So how's we gonna get to the promised land and get rid of Edom? But Ashkenazi and Edom been having wars. So we're going to have to be cool with Ashkenazi. We're going to have to be cool with them and make amends. But Ashkenazi going to have to start distancing himself from Edom. Ashkenazi gonna have to separate himself from Edom, unless he gonna be destroyed. With Edom is nothing to defeat the prophecy. Almighty Yah make all the eastern nations. Iran just got hypersonic missiles now. Iran got hypersonic missiles from associating with the Russians, and then the Jewish state came. That's awful for them. I'm talking about they got missile technology, but it ain't. You know what I'm saying? It ain't what it's supposed to be. To defend themselves, against what them folks got to do. You know what I'm saying? They ain't got nothing, to defend themselves, from what they got to do. They can't defend themselves, from them missiles. The hypersonic missiles right now, they don't have that technology. And we know that the Sebhardis who got the Sebharidims, they ain't finna help us no kind of way, get into the promised land. And I explained how them folks been promoting the African Jews and all the folks in India, China, and all other kind of folks except us real Israelites, and how that they trying to make everybody Israelites but us real Israelites. So we already see that they ain't gonna be right and work with us. But the door is open for Ashkenazi to come in, and if he know we got the win in hand, that if he come on in and serve our need, that it'll be serving they need, and that once we get control of Jerusalem, run Edom out, that we'll share it, that we'll just meet up in Jerusalem to make plans. You know what I'm saying? What agenda and what course we gonna take. But we got to get Edom out the picture, because we can't share Jerusalem with the Edomites. We can't even really share our land with the Edomites, but they most definitely can't be in Jerusalem, because Edom was told not to be there. And Almighty Yah was mad, because why would he have his prophets be, talking about Edom's, destruction? Look. Let me see. Thou shalt. All right. In that day this so body, the prophet Jeremiah's prophecy come about a good 300 years later. Man, a little under 300 years later, and it's the same as prophet Obadiah about them folks being in our land and the destruction that's coming to Edom. Now we know that right now the Edom ain't got no way of being destroyed if we not the Israelites. And that's one of the reasons why those folks be real mad and upset, because they got a lot at stake. One of the Jewish groups got a lot at stake, and both of them are going to try to help each other probably to the last minute. But one of them got a lot at stake because he tied in with the peoples that's supposed to be cast out. So he going to fight the hardest, and that's why these dudes suffer from that too. That they be suffering. You know what I'm saying? He gonna suffer. He gonna suffer. But there's all kind of ways they being manipulated and played too. As I told you, that they keep the Israelites, make them scared to help their own kind, because especially the successful Israelites all together worth billions. Man, probably 100, 200 or $300 billion. The so-called black entertainment industry. and how they scared. Ain't none of them, you know what I'm saying, trying to help the Israelite Brotherhood. It's rough. But it's all right. Almighty, y'all gonna bring this whole system down. I be thinking because they ain't trying to help the Israelite Brotherhood that the whole system got to come down. All right, look. In that day that thou stoodest on the other side, in the day that the strangers carried away captive his forces and foreigners entered into the gate and cast lots upon Jerusalem, even thou was as one of them. They telling you right here. They telling you right here, look, even thou was as one of them. During the Babylonian exile, the Edomites took advantage of the situation to plunder Jerusalem and expropriate large portions of Judah land. This day there now. They there now. See, we went into Africa. They took our land and kept it. We ran off. We ran off, and them folks got great portions of the land. But they got the land when the exiles come back, and that's why the exiles was only could live in Judah and in a small little parts around Jerusalem. I got that documented real good and how the enemies control all the rest of the part of the promised land. But look here. But thou shouldest not have looked upon the day of thy brother in the day that he became a stranger, neither should a stranger to the law, neither shouldest thou have rejoiced over the children of Judah in the day of their destruction, neither shouldest thou have spoken proudly in the day of distress. Thou shouldest not have entered into the gate of my people in the day of their calamity. Yeah, thou shouldest not have looked upon their affliction in the day of their calamity, nor have laid hands on their substance in the day of their calamity. Neither shouldest thou have stood in the crossway to cut off those of his that did escape. Neither shouldest thou have delivered up those of his that remain in the land in the day of distress. For the day of the Elohim is near upon all the heathen. As thou hast done, it shall be done unto thee. Thy reward shall return upon thine own head. Man, I pray through Almighty Yah that the Israelite Brotherhood be instrumental in getting our peoples to the promised land, because I'm talking to the right people. They understand what's going on. And then we go on and put some of this in motion. We can put some of this in motion real easily. It's easily to solve the Israelite issue. To the Jewish community, Ashkenazi, if you're listening to me, it's easy to solve the Israelite issue, and it be kind of favorable to you in your kind, because, you know, we gonna give you a pass. Whereas the other folks, man, they ain't gonna get no pass. And y'all know Almighty Y'all word gonna come to pass. Ain't nothing to stop it from coming to pass. Y'all know the Tanakh, like, just like I do, better than I do. So you know, look, thou shouldest not have entered into the gate of my people in the day of their calamity. Yeah, thou shouldest not have looked upon their affliction in the day of their calamity, neither thou have laid hands on their substance in the day of their calamity, neither shouldest thou have stood in the crossway. See, them folks got our land. You know what I'm saying? And then as you read on down, man, it tell you how we're supposed to even up. But I'm explaining to the other Israelites how it's going to be hard to even up if we ain't got no support. That's how we need Ashkenazi to help us, help them. That's how it'll go. I ain't scared to say it. Now, y'all call Ashkenazi Khazars and all that old crazy stuff and don't even know the Ashkenazi been in our heritage since the Babylonian Wars. This almost 1,500 years before some Khazars come about. You know, and then I explain the Khazars' history. So, you know, that's understood. All right, let's go to Prophet Jeremiah, man, and see what he got to say. But because he give a detail on Edom, meaning what's got to be, you know, did. You know what I'm saying? And how we got to handle up on this. And then how Edom and Moab and all them is the same. Edom, Moab, Amorites, Ammonites become one. And I done proved this in countless videos. And that's where your Semitic come from. You know, that's where your Semitic term come from. But as you read Jeremiah 48, you know what I'm saying, they talk about, you know, the judgment of Moab and woe unto Nebo. And you know, and confounded, and there shall be no more praise in Moab and Hashbon, but we know the Amorites control that from a long time ago. They're just talking about an Amorite held. You know what I'm saying? They have devised evil against it and come and let us cut it off from being a nation. You know what I'm saying? Also, thou shalt be cut down, old man. The sword shall pursue thee. You know what I'm saying? And it goes on to explain, you know what I'm saying, that how he's supposed to get, you know what I'm saying, dealt with Moab. You know what I'm saying? For messing with the Israelite heritage. And then I explained that how the Moabites come and got into the temple during the exile time, and how Elishabub, one of the priests, you know, let Tobiah, the Ammonite, get into the temple. And we know the Moabites and Ammonites wasn't never supposed to come into the Israelite heritage and so forth, even though we know that they had got in there a long time ago. You know what I'm saying, under Joshua. But as you read, you know what I'm saying, they're talking about Moab destruction, and then they get over here, you know what I'm saying, concerning the Ammonites. This said that Elohim had Israel no sons, and had he no hire, why then doeth the king inherit Gad, and his people dwell in his cities? You know, the many telling you that them folks got into the land and dwell in the cities, and that's the same as the Ammonites and the Moabites and the Edomites got our heritage and dwell in our cities. Look right here. That's what Gad was. Look, that's what Jordan, the land Jordan at. So, look, the Ammonites, Moabites, and then Edom, they all become one right there. They all become one, and that's the land Jordan. And then them Philistinians and all them folks. The Phoenicians was the ones I was talking about last time. But yeah, see the Philistines, them right there. That's the Palestinians. All them. They all in our land. So we ain't got no interest in, but we got zero interest in the Palestinian conflict with how Ashkenazi is handling and dealing with them, because everybody on our promised land. And then we can look and see in captivity how the Palestinians do us in captivity, selling us pork, burr, cigarettes, hating us, and be real mean to us, and come into our community and hoard our wealth and take it out. Don't invest none back into the community that they getting their wealth from. Oh man, control a whole bunch in our community. Now they buying houses and raising the prices up where the Israelites can't even afford to stay in the houses and so forth. Oh man, it's awful. But look, as you read this, look, how Lord has one. But you see how they, you know what I'm saying, they in our land. Prophet Jeremiah saying, but it got to be, you know, how he said, because, you know, the Babylonians was down with the Edomites, as I showed. Therefore, behold, the days come, saith the Elohim, that I will cause an alarm of war to be heard in Rabbah of the Ammonites, and it shall be a desolate heap, and her daughters shall be burnt with fire. Then shall Israel be hire unto them that were her hire, his hire, said the Elohim. See, that's what we're waiting to happen. That never happened. That never happened. And it's time now, because we woke up to who we are and what went down in the past. So all we need is this Israelite issue to be settled by placing us where we supposed to be in Hebron. I already said, you know what I'm saying, I be telling the Jewish community how I need a spot with about 500 fabricated houses, 200 fabricated houses, and let me pick my people to fill them up. You know what I'm saying? And then we can get the show on the road. But look, as you read this, look, and I will bring a fear upon thee, said the Elohim of hosts, and from all those that be about thee, ye shall be driven out, every man right forth, and none shall gather up him that wandereth. You know what I'm saying? We're going to drive him out the land. And afterwards I will bring again the captive, you know what I'm saying, and concerning Edom, this said the Elohim of hosts. Is wisdom no more in Teman, and counsel perish from the prudent? Is their wisdom vanished? Flee ye, turn back, dwell deep, O inhabitants of Dedan, for I will bring the calamity of Esau upon him in the time that I visit him. If grape gatherers come to thee, wilt thou not leave some gleaning grapes? If these by night they will destroy thee, and have not
and have enough, but I have made Esau bare. I have uncovered his secret places. It's uncovered now, and he shall not be able to hide himself. His seed is spoiled.
See, that they can't hide themselves now, because we know that the Sephardim is the Jewish branch of the Edomites that's in the promised land that control our heritage. You know, and they got put on during John Harnick's time. Then let me show this. It's already on record, but let me see if I can pull this up. This would be nice if I could pull this up. How John Harnick's men converted all Edom to the Jewish religion, and that's how Edom is in our heritage. But as you read this oracle that prophet Jeremiah say about Edom, man, it's destruction and in line with prophet Obadiah and prophet Ezekiel, man, about Edom. You know, and then this is how the Edomites got into the Jewish heritage officially with the religion. They was already mixed with the Sephardim and so forth, but under this dude right here, I'm gonna show his image if it come up. All right, Israelites, I'm about getting ready to close this video down, but you know, Edom, you know, because he got Jerusalem, you know what I'm saying, and holding on to it, and we supposed to be there, and then that's where the troubles got to come down from that, and then for us being in our, you know, them being in our heritage, and us having to be home. You know, it's gonna come to pass. I don't know what Ashkenazi waiting on. We ain't mad at Ashkenazi, and we gonna get him a pass. We gonna get him a pass. The Israelite Brotherhood is. I don't know about you other Israelite organizations. That's why one day y'all gonna fall up under the Israelite Brotherhood umbrella one of these days. You know what I'm saying? Soon as we get this Israelite show on the road. But look, let me find this part, man, about Edom. About Edom and how dude converted all Edom to Judaism. Alright. Harnick has also initiated a military campaign against the Edomites. During this campaign, Harnick has acquired such and such all the Edomites' land in other towns of Edom, and Harnick has then instituted forced conversion on the Edoms to Judaism. So they all become Judaism. They all become Jews, and that's going to be the Sephardim. That's going to be these folks right here. And you know, they part of the Arab population and so forth. And they, you know, the folks in Jordan, that's they folks. They can't be in our heritage when we come now. You see that right here? That's them. That's the ones that he converted outright. That's doing the thing. And all them Amorites mixed with all of them, but that's the ones with specifically we eat them. And then I want to explain too that, you know, if you look in the Eastern nations, that they got Jews there. That it's gonna be these folks right here, and them the ones that help kick Islam. That them the ones that the Islamic founders got his information about the Israelite heritage from them, being in the Israelite heritage since the Babylonian days. That it wasn't nothing. They was already doing trade down here in Arabia and all these parts. Man, it's their land. This they land. This they land. And then how did they did trade, and then how it wasn't nothing for them to put that religion together to fight against Ashkenazi, who has Christianity. You know, Christianity only see Ashkenazi as the Israelites, as Islam only see the Sephardim as the Israelites, and that's why they fight. And then that's why when the Eastern nations rise up and overcome the West like they doing, the Ashkenazi are going to have to get out the land. Ain't nothing but like the Crusader Wars over the Promised Land with Islam all over and over. It's just more sophisticated now. But how all this stuff going to come to a stop when we come, and then how we going to bring peace to the whole earth when this Israelite issue is settled. You know, when this Israelite issue is settled. See, some folks don't want no peace on the earth. The folks that got a lot of stake and confusion and mischief and wickedness, they not going to want the Israelite issue settled. Because if the Israelite issue is settled, then how is this going to help them if you manufacture wickedness and got it in a product and all kind of products, and you export this, and you know what I'm talking about? How that's going to help you if it come to an end if you export wickedness? It ain't. So, us coming into our heritage is going to stop them from doing a whole lot of wicked stuff around the world. And they've been getting away with the wicked stuff because the other nations get forced to go light-handed because they got this historical so-called connection to the founder of the earth, the creator of the earth. And all the other nations got history of Yah some kind of way in their history. It's just been distorted. That's what the serpent culture got around and was all around on the earth, was to keep the creators information distorted. Wherever it may go, the serpent culture was there to distort the truth. But if we would have been the priestly nation like we was supposed to be, we was going to do the serpent in as we was doing to his children, Sihon and Sigog and all them before they got us. All right, Israelite, this is a message from the Israelite Brotherhood. I pray everybody learn something from this message, and that, we Israelites gonna get a chance to, man, I just got a feeling, man, that the headquarters gonna be, popping up, and I pray to Almighty Yah that it do come on down so we can really, really connect and be together like a family like we supposed to. And we gonna, figure out a way, man, to bring this Israelite issue to an end. That's our job as Israelites in captivity, is to bring the Israelite issue to an end. Man, I had wanted to talk about this one subject, man, and I might have to next time so the video just don't be super long. But I wanted to talk about this right here. You know what I'm saying? Why are Israelites loyal to a system that enslaves them? Is it in the Tanakh why Israelites don't mind being slaves to a system that enslaved them? I mean, I might make the next video about this. How we slaves to a system and don't mind being slaves to the system, and how Israelite can just don't care about his heritage and just, man, just abandon everything that's, true and so forth. And that's what we Israelites been doing. But there's some scriptures in here that, show that when Almighty Yah said, why is Israel a homeborn slave? You know what I'm saying? I got this history showing that after slavery, because it wasn't nowhere to go, but because the Israelites was fed and took care on the plantation, that a whole bunch of them went back to the plantation to eat and stuff. And then how that I got voices from our enemies saying that if they had got free from slavery, how they wouldn't have been nowhere to been found. All right, Israelites, I pray that everybody is doing right and everybody is doing well. This is a message from the Israelite Brotherhood.